former SAA chairperson Dudu Myeni has been testifying at the state capture inquiry this afternoon via a virtual link.
This is after she drew the ire of both the Deputy Chief Justice Zondo and the evidence leader Kate Hofmeyr. She didn't show up this morning as she'd been told to do.
It's not acceptable that Ms. Myeni did not comply with the summons and presented herself at the hearing this morning. 2, from what I have heard, there appears not to have been any valid reason for her not to appear. 3, the Secretary of the Commission must take steps to lay a criminal complaint with the South African Police Service against her for acting in breach of the Summons and the Commissions Act. 4, I direct that she should make herself available to give evidence today.
Well, did she have a choice before finally caving into the commission? We're joined now by legal expert Benedict Phiri. Mr. Phiri, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. One certainly can't write the script, especially when you look at some of the developments that have unfolded today. We began the morning on what would seem like no evidence from Dudu Myeni. As we wrap up, she's now asking the commission if she can testify in her mother tongue of isiZulu.
Yes, you're right, Kathy. I think we cannot write the script. For a while, it looked like Mrs. Myeni wouldn't make it to the commission today. She'd obviously preferred an excuse to say that she'd request a postponement. She had a family arrangement to attend to. The commission and the evidence leaders obviously not taking very kindly to that and really saying this was an act of defiance because she hadn't been excused from being at the commission, and therefore she'd taken the postponement herself.
What were the likely scenarios? At some point we saw Advocate Kate Hofmeyr arguing very passionately about why it is she felt that charges actually needed to be brought against Ms. Myeni, at least for not having appeared in the first instance.
Yeah, and I mean, Advocate Hofmeyr is correct, you know, on a strict reading of the Commissions Act. You commit an offense if you aren't at the commission at the time and date stated on the summons. So, you know, she wasn't there at the time she was required to be there by the summons, and there was no reason to do so. You need sufficient cause, you know, so that you're not in breach of that provision. So, you know, she's absolutely correct. And I think the issue here as well is that it was aggravated by the fact that, you know, on the ESCOM work stream, Ms. Myeni hasn't responded to some documentation requests. There's been a little bit of cats and mouse between her and the commission, and, you know, the commission and evidence leaders feeling like, you know, enough is enough in this respect.
One of the things that we have also heard today, at least while she's asked to give evidence in isiZulu, is that her approach to the questioning could well be different, because she says she wants to answer questions to the full extent as is possible, which of course would be different to what she did the last time she was before this commission. Yes,
we will recall that last time she did raise, you know, the defense that she didn't want to incriminate herself in the responses to the questions quite frequently. I believe that was actually up for, you know, the evidence leaders were actually going to grill her a little bit on that today, and we're planning to. It might be a ploy around isiZulu to just break up a little bit of time between when the question is raised by the evidence leader and when she actually has to respond, just to give her a little bit of time to think carefully through what the response will be and place it the way she wants it, and also give a little bit of distance between the answering and asking of the question between her and the evidence leader as well.
Of course, a very superficial reading of part of what is unfolding here is that Ms. Myeni seems to be running circles around the Zondo Commission of Inquiry.
She's absolutely, has tried to, not present herself and her evidence at moments when she's been requested to. And I think I can understand the frustration that the evidence leaders articulated during today. I think at the end of the day, it's at least good that she's there to some extent, given that the commission is wrapping up in the next couple of weeks. And I hope Chief Justice Zondo can then just direct that her evidence can be dealt with expeditiously.
Of course, one of the things that could well happen is that she could be asked about the testimony that was put on the record by Nomangoma, or rather Nomagigaba, in her evidence in the last couple of weeks, where Dudu Myeni's name has come up quite often, and the nature of the relationship between not just herself and the former minister, Gigaba, but also how that interplayed back to the Gupta family.
Yes. Definitely, we do expect to see those questions coming up before she's eventually excused from the commission. I think Nomangoma put some explosive allegations that do warrant a response from Ms. Myeni, and I think the evidence leaders should be putting that to her as part of the evidence that she'll lead.
All right. Ex-legal expert Benedict Phiri just weighing in then on some of the developments that we saw unfolding at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. So Ms. Myeni is giving evidence this evening. We'll certainly keep an eye on part of what is unfolding at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. Stephen?